What's up, guys? So we're heading out of Tullahoma right now, heading towards Normandy, Tennessee. Got the train here in the background. Check it out. Trying out a new camera view. Hopefully this is going to work out well. But I figured on the ride I would take you along and we would talk about a few things. Why would somebody want to own an Excelsior Henderson Super X, 1999 to 2000? And so that's what I figured we could cover today on the ride back home. So I don't know if it's going to be like a top 5. It's not going to be in order to which one's more important than the rest. It may just be a rambling of my own opinions. This is all my own opinions, but I've been owning Excelsior Henderson Super X's since 2017. I have 0400, 11, and now I have 1153. I love these bikes. Now, when I first started off, I didn't know about the community. There's a huge community, not a huge, there's a small but tight-knit community. Let me say it that way. And I thought that there was nothing on YouTube at the time, very little, and I thought that I was just kind of stuck out here in the ether with a motorcycle that was lost in time. All right. So that gets me started on number one. Number one is these motorcycles have a huge support behind them. The owners, the original owners, all the way to the new owners, and you know, there's Mike Seastrom out in Arkansas, and there's Forged by Fago up in, don't quote me on this, I think Minnesota. It could be different, but it's up there in the North Midwest area. Those are two great places that you can get serviced on these bikes. All the parts you would ever need is at ehparts.net. Once I got plugged into the community, I was able to get the parts I needed, I was able to get the service I needed, I was able to get the bikes in the condition that they need to be. So my particular instance, or my situation, was a little bit different than most others. These motorcycles were left to me from my grandpa, who passed away. So I didn't have anything in them, but they were also had fallen into poor condition. And since they were in poor condition, I had to put a lot more money into them. That goes to the value of the bikes, which is another point to this whole video. Why should you, or why would you want to own an Excelsior Henderson? Well, the value. They're not that expensive. You can get into one of these bikes cheaper than, you know, with low miles, with all the updates, with all the work done to them. You can get all the work done, or you can get a bike that has everything done for like anywhere from 4,000 to 6,000, 7,000 on the high side. And then, you know, for some real more famous, I say famous, well-known bikes that are customized in the group, you know, they go a little bit more. So you can buy a bike that has everything done for a very reasonable price, versus going out and buying a bike that, you know, Harley or a metric bike or whatever the case, and spending a whole lot more money, you know, 10, 15, 20,000 or more. Or, you know, if you consider going out and buying a new bike, you're going to have a lot of money in it. A lot of money in a monthly payment. Whereas you can pay cash for something like this. And I ride with Harleys all the time. This bike does just fine. All of them. They do great. And so that's kind of one of those points I've got for you right there, is the community, the value, versus buying something brand new. Now, we can move on to number 3, and we could just talk about the enjoyment of riding a machine like this. One of the things is the rarity. Depending on your geographical location in the United States or whatever country you're living in, odds are there's not many of these, and you may have never seen an Excelsior Henderson before, the Super X. So the rarity of riding a bike like this, the questions, the attention it brings, you know, because people see this and they don't even know where to even begin. And if you're watching this video, you may be in that situation. You're trying to figure out what the heck are these things. And that's the whole point of my YouTube channel, is to get information out here about these bikes, because the guys who really love these bikes and really love the community, we don't want to see the bikes get neglected. We don't want to see them fall into disrepair. So I'm trying not to get off a topic here, or go down too many, you know, chasing too many squirrels. But the ride quality is really exceptional. On top of, like I said, the uniqueness of it, the attention that it brings. It has a 1386cc V-twin engine based off of the Westlake English racing engine. They like to run between 28 and 3200 RPMs, and they can rev up high and they can rev up quick. You keep in that power curve, and it's a really enjoyable ride. They make enough power to enjoy the ride. This engine will blow the brakes off of a Evolution, and I think it would run all day with an 88 and maybe a 96 too. And there's some performance work that can be done to these too. Ported, polished heads, pistons, camshafts. You know, there's work that can be done to these, and they can get over 100 horse. But I'm talking in a stock configuration. They make plenty of power to ride with the boys, is all I'm trying to say. They make plenty of power to be able to come out here and enjoy the road. The ride quality though, you get out of the vibration points of the bike, and the bike smooths out, and it's very enjoyable. I've taken the factory seats. I mean, let's talk about the comfort of the bike. The factory seats are incredibly comfortable. Way more comfortable than some of the factory, or most of the, I would say all the factory Harley seats that I've ever had. You know, that's kind of the Harley tax. You buy the bike and you replace the seat, right? Well, you don't have to do that on this bike. I've ridden for easily 4 hours. And that's on a one-way riding trip, just 4 hours straight. And I've had no problems. I've got some other big trips coming up. I've got one going to Wisconsin Dells. It's going to be 13 hours. Holy cow. So I will report back after 13 hours on this bike, but that just goes to show people have been riding these bikes all across the country for decades, for 26 years. The bikes are reliable with the correct updates, and they're enjoyable. This is a ride like I just can't explain. The sound, the rawness. I mean, this is a truly American heavyweight cruiser, and if you're into that, this is totally an option for you. Especially if you like working on your own stuff. I mean, it's awesome. You don't have to work on your own stuff to have an Excelsior Henderson, but you can. I work on my own most of the time, and I've had a lot of work done by Mike as well, so there's a lot of options on that. So where are we on our list? There's no issues with power. I mean, the bike does everything you need it to do, and plus some. I mean, you can really get out of hand on these, no doubt. I mean, we're talking almost 1400 cc's. I would say probably somewhere between 65, 70 horse stock, and you can go up from there, obviously. To have a motorcycle that is as beautiful and as unique as this motorcycle truly is, with the rich American history. I mean, do not be mistaken by the false narratives and the fake news, the smear pieces that have been written, and the misconceptions and the myths about these motorcycles in this company. if you're familiar with the Tucker automobile story, the Excelsior Henderson rebirth story by the Hanlon brothers was very much the same way. It's a beautiful story, matter of fact, and it's one that I'm proud of as an owner, and as my grandfather being an investor in the company originally. It's a piece of American history, and if you want to ride a motorcycle that has its own character, has its own soul, this is an exceptional motorcycle for you. And if you have any questions about the bike, where do you even find a motorcycle like this? Where do you find them for sale? Well, the 1999 to 2000 Excelsior Henderson Riders Club motorcycle Facebook page, people post them on there for sale all the time. And like I said, they're always between like 4,000 and 7,000 on the high side, typically. And a lot of these motorcycles are immaculate. I would say most of them are in really, really good shape. Getting into some curvies here. I've taken these bikes all over East Tennessee. I've gone down, I've done the Dragon. You can shred on a Super X, man. You can absolutely shred these motorcycles. Now I've got videos that show it, and I plan to make some more. These motorcycles can absolutely shred, and they can hang. And they sound great. I mean, can you hear this exhaust? What a sound. These are the slash cuts with no baffles. Just an absolutely unique and beautiful motorcycle exhaust. Oil, 2050 AMS oil, full synthetic. You can use Wix oil filters, AMS oil filters. The surface is there. Tires, spoked wheels, so they take inner tubes. Dunlop American Elites is what I typically run. You can get Michelins, you can get Shinkos. I mean, it's a common tire size. There's nothing that you cannot get for these motorcycles to keep them on the road. So don't let that be a concern that, you hear the myths. There's no parts available anymore for these bikes. That is just simply not true. And not only am I a testament to that, there's several other YouTube channels on here that are a testament to that, along with the entire community. Back to what we were talking about, don't let the myths and the miscommunication, the misinformation rather, deter you from getting outside of what is unique, or getting outside of what is normal, and getting something unique. There's a lot of motorcycles, and I'm not even just talking about Excelsior Hendersons. There's so many motorcycles out here that are really enjoyable to ride, and they have a hidden community of people that love these motorcycles, and that they're willing to help. You're not stuck with riding a Harley or even an Indian, which I think the Indians are really great as well. If I was to go out and buy a brand new motorcycle right now, which I'm not, it would probably be an Indian. And I'm not a Harley hater. I've had Sportsters, I've had road glides, I've ridden street glides, I've ridden Ultras before. I've been on Kawasaki's, I've been on Suzuki's. I've been on plenty of Excelsior Hendersons, and I have a lot to compare it to, and this is what I like. This is what I prefer to ride on. So with everything that we've talked about as far as the community, the uniqueness, the enjoyable ride, let's talk about the styling and go back on. Let's talk a little bit more about the ride quality, because I'm not doing it justice completely. So you see the big Springer front end, right? Well, it's a leading link anti-dive front suspension is what it is, and man is it cool. You can freaking slam on these front brakes, son, and there is no dive. The suspension works as it should. It's super awesome. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna pull over right up here. We're gonna change the camera view for just a second, and hopefully we can get a good view of the bike's suspension for you. So as I'm shredding, I'm sure you can see, you know, the suspension's doing its job. Coming up on a hard braking, I have no dive. The suspension's doing its part, and the rider experiences no dive. Which, I mean, if you ride any other motorcycle, you can rock that front end until the day's done. And that's not going to happen on this bike. As far as the suspension goes, it's a nice suspension. It's a tunable unishock underneath the rear seat. As far as that goes, you can really adjust it to a solo rider, or max it to having a passenger and cargo. Both are very exceptional. Let's hit some of these curvies in this camera view, and we'll get back after it. I hope it did it justice, having the camera down on the engine guards to be able to show you a little bit of the suspension, the anti-dive leading link front end, kind of doing what it does. It's a really unique, I mean, I guess, I don't know if it's considered a outdated engineering or not, but why all motorcycles now don't have anti-dive characteristics, I don't know, because I love it personally. I don't have a whole lot more for you today as far as this opinion I have of why you should or why you might want to consider owning an Excelsior Henderson. I hope that in this short little time, I've done it some justice, and I haven't just sat here and rambled the whole time, which if I have, you know, it's very possible. I hope you enjoyed it regardless. Continue to watch some of the other content, especially if you're on the edge, you're trying to figure out what's going on with these Excelsior Henderson motorcycles. I plan to continue to make some good stuff. There's tons of other channels that you can find that have good instructional videos, plus some good fun riding videos. And join the Facebook page on Facebook. They also, I mean, that's where everybody congregates. That's where all the information is. That's where the bikes are for sale. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So check it all out. See what you think. If you need anything from me, holler. And if you can, like and subscribe. We'll catch you on the next one. What up, dude? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Are you on the bike? Oh, bro. Where you at? I'll meet you over here. And I'll ride with you if you want.